Edwards, and I am back with round 2 of how I am putting my Week in the Life album together for 2019. Last time we were on here, and I'll put a link as well, last time I showed you just my initial process of how I was dealing with my journaling, how I was dealing with my photo enlargements, and kind of the basic flow of the album itself. So since that time, what I have done, and you can look down here too, what I've done is I have added in all the rest of my photos. So if we go back here to the beginning, I also added a chipboard piece there, but that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, is adding in more of the embellishments. So I went ahead and printed all the 3x4 pictures. So I've got a bunch of 3x4s in here. On all of these cards that I had, the 3x4 cards that I had in for each day of the week, those, all I did was take a 3x4 picture, crop it, or print it 3x4, and then cut it to fit on the size of this card. And so you'll see those on each of the days. As you might remember, that was the phrases that are on these cards are really what I used as the jumping off point for the focus of my story for each day. So I've got 3x4 photos, and then I have 3x8s. I had this one in here already, but I did that for the rest of the days. And then I did all my 4x6 photos. So I did 4x6 photos using my Epson PictureMate PM400. I printed them with the white border on them this time. I just like that look. You will notice probably right away that I definitely took a lot more photos on Monday, and I decided not to add all of those photos in. Maybe a controversial choice, but it was the right choice for me. I wanted to simplify the process a little bit more. The photos that I have included here are a good representation of my day, and I have 4 pages of journaling, 4 pages of journaling that can tell the story of the photos that I might not have included. I know for some people that is a really hard sell in terms of it being really hard to choose which photos are you going to exclude. And the way that I approach that is I don't look at it from that vantage point. I look at it more from which photos do I love, which photos tell a nice kind of rounded story of the day, and which ones are my favorites. Just which ones do I want to include? If I only have 4 pockets for 4x6 images, which ones do I want to include? And then those are the ones that I include. This took me to print these 3x4 and 4x6 photos yesterday. It took me a couple hours of sitting at my computer. I sat with the album over there at my desk and went through and said, okay, I need 5 3x4 pictures for each day, and I need a 3x8 enlargement. Usually I did some sort of photo thing because it's on the back of the food there. And then I need 4 4x6. That's what I needed to fill in each day for the spaces that I had left and available. Now, I've done this project in the past where I've added in more photos, and I've printed them and adhered them back to back and just stuck them into the album. But this year I felt like, let's simplify it for myself. I need 4 4x6 photos. I need 5 3x4 photos, and I need a 3x8 photo. Now that's in addition to these full page photos that I did each day already, right? That was a part of my part 1. So I did 2 giant photo enlargements there as well. So that is the initial, that's where I'm at right now. I think what I will do is I would like to just get started adding in the embellishments, and then at the end you'll see, or filling in the spaces that I need to be filled in here. I need to fill in some of my food, and then adding embellishments onto these photos. And I don't anticipate that I'm going to add a ton of stuff. I want to work with some of the things that I have here on my table. I want to incorporate some of the pieces from the kit. So the black paper die cuts, these the fabric, adhesive backed fabric pieces. I want to add those in. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be adding the cork days of the week to the 3x8 photos. I did that somewhere here. Let's see. I know I added one. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, so here, just doing something like that. I might add in the chipboard asterisks and some of the word phrase stickers, which I think I added one of those in already. So that's what you're gonna see next, is just me kind of working through that process of adding them in, adding on some stickers. I have the sticker bundle here as well. That's always a good one just for everyday life stuff, as well as the extra chipboard that we offered too. So I'm gonna just go back and start with Monday and work my way through the process. All right, let's dive in. You're gonna see the super sped up version here because it's a process for sure. And really what you're gonna see is that I follow the same formula throughout the entire album. In the beginning here, I kind of dealt a little bit with excuse me, just with Monday and kind of trying to decide what did I want to put on those Avery index tabs. I added those onto each one of those 3x8 inserts, and I ended up adding the same thing on every one. So using one of the stamps from excuse me, that highs and lows stamp that you can see there on my desk, I used that for all of the those Avery index tabs. You can see that there I'm kind of starting that production style process of doing them all at one time. And I think that the sentiment that I picked was something about this week. Let me see if I can see here grab my sample, my actual sample. Stuff of life. So that's what I put in each one, or I did on each one of those index tabs. You can also see that right now what I'm doing is I'm flipping through to each of the enlarged photo pages and putting something on them. So not the ones that I used the layered template for, but any ones where I just had those big enlarged photos, mainly on the back of the layered template. That's where I'm using those adhesive patches. I love those adhesive patches. I think they're such a cool and fun and easy product to add on to something that gives it that nice little bit of texture. You can also see there that I'm adding in the cork days of the week on top of my 3x8 photos. So kind of pulling those out as I go along and then using my tiny attacher to staple. Now, if you have never followed along with this project before, you may either be relieved or surprised or some other word of how repetitive I make this. And what repetition does for me is that it simplifies the process. It allows me to say, okay, I know that on each one of these 3x8 photos that I have for each day of the week, I'm going to add a cork day of the week on top of there. Or inside each of these Avery index tabs, I'm going to add the same thing. Or just even the fact of adding the Avery index tabs onto those 3x8 images / food recording there. I did the same thing. I gave them the same treatment, and giving them the same treatment really does simplify the overall process for me. And like I said, or I will say in other places, I have other projects that are more organic or more free-flowing or more crafty, if you want to use that word. And this project really, again, I can say it again and again, gets back to the words in the photo. So the embellishments in this project are really just like an extra add-on little something to help make it fun, make it interesting, and move the story forward. I actually totally believe that you could do this whole thing without adding any product. I would still use the album, I would still use the page protectors, but I don't necessarily think that you need to add really too much product at all onto any of these and still have a really beautiful capture of your life at this point in time. So after I did those things where I knew I was going to add something specific onto each section of the day, then I went back to the beginning and I started adding things onto my photos. So I used a lot of these transparent stickers. Those were part of a sticker bundle. I also used word phrase stickers that were part of the word phrase sticker bundle. And I also used chipboard. So those are the things that you will see me adding onto these. I do not spend a lot of time trying to figure out what is the perfect embellishment to add on here. Again, this is one of those places where I'm limiting choices, right? I'm saying, okay, I'm either going to use one of these transparent circles, I'm going to use word phrase stickers, or I'm going to add those black paper die cuts on top. So those were the limitations that I gave myself in embellishing this project. And for me, that just makes the whole entire excuse me, process simpler overall, and it keeps it cohesive as well, because I'm not using, I'm not going back through my stash. I'm not looking for, all the 25 different products that I might have that could be used on this one project. I'm using the things that are in the kit, plus a couple other things to be able to accent my photos, essentially. So moving on into Tuesday, again, adding those transparent circle stickers. One of the things that I did do, and I don't always do this, but I did this time a little bit, was pay attention to some of the colors that were happening either in my photos or in the other embellishments that I used, and use those kind of as a guidepost, I would say, to select some embellishments. So if I had red excuse me, on the journaling card, then that was a really simple place to add in another red embellishment or another orange embellishment, or whatever it was, depending upon what other colors I saw over the that are near to what I'm adding in there right now. Most of the time when I am adding on something like this, with word phrase stickers, I usually add one or two. With the circle transparent stickers, I only added one. And I also did go to the chipboard set or the chipboard bundle that we offered this time, and added those on some of the pictures as well. I think I ended up using all of the black die cuts except for the one that said UGG, but I will probably use that again another time when I'm telling another story that has more of an UGG in it. And I used most of those transparent circle stickers too. I really liked those. But this is the simple process that I have followed for years. That is the way that I tackle this project, the way I approach this project, the way that I'm able to get this project done every year. So that's one of the things. Yes, I'm kind of leading the project. That is a motivation. But I think also just having it be a simple process has made it so much easier for me to get it done, rather than, giving myself tons of choices or giving myself all kinds of options for what I might be adding in, or focusing really on the design. That's why I like to lay some of that stuff out in advance as well. So there you can see I'm adding on some word phrase stickers, just kind of looking over those different ones and seeing what makes sense. That supports the story that I'm telling on that particular day. There was one spot where I hadn't made it click the check mark. You also saw and probably heard me talk about already that I haven't filled in all the food stuff yet. And that's on my list of things to do. I just wanted to make sure that I got this out and up, so that those of you that wanted a little more guidance or to see a little bit more of what the actual finished project looked like could go ahead and get started. On top of this photo from Anna's soccer practice, I added a bunch of word phrase stickers, and I loved the colors and the way that those things came together as well. Then playing around with adding on one of the die cuts. In just a minute here, after I go through, or after you've seen this piece of the sped up process, I am going to go through the whole album for you, just kind of in real time, so you can see how it all ended up and what the actual flow is. This part I just wanted you to see, how really simple it is. I mean, the hardest part, I think, is choosing which things you're going to add. And if you can train yourself to just pick one up and stick it on there, that's probably really going to help your overall process as well. So adding a chipboard heart onto that photo, and then getting ready here to move into the weekend, into Saturday and Sunday. And there were also some times where I didn't add any embellishments onto the photos. And I think that is a perfectly fine choice as well. Not everything needs to have some other extra something on top. There's a good example of using the pink circle sticker, the transparent circle sticker, paired with that pink transparent page, right? That kind of made sense to be able to continue that color across there. But really, those circle stickers, I really liked them. I liked them more than I thought that I was going to like them. That ended up being a fun thing to add on to my photos there as well. All right, and then moving here to the end of Saturday, I took with the tag, this is one day at a time, I added a little bit more of the the twine on there, trimmed it off, and then went ahead and I used adhesive, but I also stapled that one as well onto there. And there's a place where I decided to just not add any other things on the previous photo, and I think that's totally fine too. Again, you don't need to have an embellishment on top of every photo. If it simplifies it for you, then you should do it. But otherwise, I think some of them can just be, I like to call them resting. They're like resting photos where there's not a ton of things going on with them. But I loved looking through the chipboard and finding things that made sense and things that related to my overall feeling or my overall sentiment for the day. I felt like that is definitely one of the ways that I like approaching this project. And I always get a lot of joy just in this process of going back in to and revisiting the week as I am going through the process of adding on the embellishments. There is definitely a reliving of that and a honing in on what are the most important things in my life. That's one of the reasons why I come back to this project again and again, is because it does offer that for me. So ended really simply there. I don't have an end page, just kind of ends with those last two photos on excuse me, on Sunday there. And I know for me, definitely when I get to the end, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy to be done. I also added one of the other, there was some transparent black circles that were part of a transparent bundle. That one did sell out, so we don't have that one available anymore. All right, just a quick wrap up here at the end. I just finished up putting the last of the embellishments onto some of my photos, and I wanted to hop on here. I'm going to do a full flip through, and I also just wanted to say I'm so thankful for this project. I'm so thankful for the community that surrounds this project. This project, Week in the Life, has never been about the products. It's always been about the words and the photos, and the products are a way to support the story, a place to hold these words and photos, and then have a few things to play around with it. Other projects I do, some of them are craftier, some of them have more bells and whistles sort of thing. This one is really about the words and the photos, and I come back to it again and again. I'm super thankful to have the opportunity to do it again and again, and I hope that you guys who participated really enjoyed the process. I hope you found a rhythm that worked for you during the documenting week, as well as when you're actually putting the album together itself. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and let's do a flip through here, and I'll just kind of revisit some of these things. Remember that I started with the cards, started with the free download. This is a printable that's available on my blog. The calendar with the fold out, and my calendar, there's some things got added and some things got subtracted, but it's a good general look at what the week was like, playing around with the cutout floral piece there. Kind of my reason why, or who we are right now. That's what I did in the journaling there. And then as you guys saw, the process here was simply adding, the last piece of the process that I did was adding on embellishments. So mainly stickers and chipboard this time. It's very simple in terms of what I added onto it, but I also love it for that fact. It is focused on the photos and the words here and making sure that I got all of those things in. One thing you will see here as I flip through, I haven't got all my food written down yet, so I still need to go back into that. This is Ernie. He likes to jump up on the counter. Well, at least in here. He doesn't do it in the kitchen, but he definitely sometimes in the office here. I've caught him sleeping up here. Anyway, I need to go back in and fill in some of the food, and you'll see that. But I thought I really liked the product that was in the main kit for Week in the Life this year, especially from a standpoint of things that I could add on to the photos, because I like adding one or two simple things to the photos. Word phrase stickers, I liked having these paper die cuts, and I also really liked these clear stickers. These were, excuse me, an add-on product, and I hope to make some more of these with different themes. I really liked adding those directly onto my pictures, and you'll see those in a variety of places throughout the album. And there's also places where I didn't add something to the photos. Some of the photos I just let be. I just let them rest. And then other ones I added chipboard to. Here's another one of those clear stickers. Adding a couple of the word phrase stickers. The grayish there is the one that was included in the kit. And then the ones that are blue blue or orange or white were an add-on product option this year as well. So super simple. Again, not adding the words onto this part, having that be having that be a place for the photos to live, and then having a place for the words to live as well in an organized way. And I did add those cork words on there. As I was going through, I just simply looked for homes, right? What can I put on here? What's a sentiment that is reflective of this photo or reflective of how I feel about this photo? Moving into Wednesday, just a couple stickers here and there. A lot of the process of this project happens in selecting your photos and printing them out and getting your words all written down. That's the biggest part of it. I also loved adding these, the fabric stickers on there too. I did that on the big enlarged days of the week. Always love to find a shape like that to put something in. Die cut, sticker, and then the same thing here with the chipboard on the back. So full flip through. This one I had the tag down below, so it's down here. I liked using this black and white twine. I thought that was a nice just little addition of something that's a little bit more texture based, where the rest of this is really flat. I did add a chipboard piece on the back of this one. I didn't do that on all of the transparencies, but on a few there. Also, the reminder that this project, you can do this project anytime. Like, you don't have to do it at the same time that I do it. We still have supplies available. Some of the supplies are available for those of you that maybe are watching this at a different time. This is always something that can be done. We'll do it again. I'll do it again next year, probably in a similar time frame. But if you come to this later, this is definitely something that you can always embark on, and you can see tons of past examples on my blog as well. So again, I need to write those in. I don't know if I can remember all of this because I didn't write it down as intentionally as I should have. But I can kind of figure it out from what I wrote here in the journaling itself. So a couple photos of Anna's soccer practice. That was where I took kind of a bunch. So adding the stickers, adding a few of the word phrase stickers all together, kind of bringing them together and using one of those cork or the chipboard asterisks there. Currently watching one of the die cuts. I added a little of this, a little of that on the back of this black one. We don't always offer dark transparencies. They're usually clear or much lighter. So this is a little bit of a different, kind of a trying it out, I guess you would say, to see what we think about it. So I liked just having it as a home for that. Chipboard piece just on one of the pictures there. Again, those fabric ones, I really like those. I want to make more of those. Friday, so adding a chipboard piece, sticker, and just kind of flipping through. It's so fun to look back. Like this, I know this was like 2 weeks ago, but it feels like it was even longer ago, and it's just how crazy how crazy fast life goes by too. I really love, and I said this before, I think in the part one of bringing this album together, I really love the full page photo with the full page of words. That's one of my most favorite just ways to tell stories anyway. Adding the one day at a time tag, I put more of that twine there. You'll also see that most of those die cut pieces I added a staple to. And then coming through here, just super simple, like picking one thing to add on there, right? Not worrying about what is the perfect embellishment, just giving myself the opportunity. This process of doing that probably took me maybe an hour or so, maybe less than that even, to go through and add those things in. I think as you saw, like used one of the stamps there, Stuff of Life, and added that inside all of the Avery index tabs. There's the Stories Matter one. My Sunday was broken, so I still just stapled it on there anyway. I didn't have an extra one of those. Savoring, and then just 2 pictures at the end. So I don't usually have a conclusion or something like that. For me, kind of the conclusion is actually what you see in the beginning of that We Are page, because I actually wrote that after I did all of the documenting. So just something to keep in mind as you finish up your own album. And as always, if you have any questions about this project or any of the other projects that I participate in or I embark on or anything related to memory keeping, please feel free to leave them below. And I hope to see many of you for another project later this year. One of the ones we have, one of the big ones, well, the big one's still coming up this year, is December Daily. That will be, we will start talking about the products usually in early September, and that is a 25-day or 30-day or whatever you want it to be for yourself. I do 25 days of documenting the holiday season, and it's another one of my most popular projects and another one that is super fun, and for me, generally a lot more crafty. I usually, for that project, I work on that each day during December and usually try to have a video each day showing how I'm telling my stories, compared to Week in the Life where I wait until the end of the documenting part to actually put my album together. So that's a little bit of the difference in those projects. But for more related to my subscriptions or any other products or classes I offer, check out my website, allieedwards.com.